So for a guy who's actually, have you sparred? I mean, you sparred in the HEMA tournament, but you didn't spar in FMA before, right?
I sparred with sticks before. I wouldn't say I had a lot of different techniques, but I've definitely sparred with sticks and wooden dowel and things like that. But again, it wasn't highly technical. It was just, oh, you guys are doing this, let me jump in and fight.
Then we have another one.
Anything you want to say about, like, you know, because it's, you know, was it like sparring a guy who, like him, who's like,
It's a
fuck.
peak condition.
Yeah, he's in peak condition.
Peak condition, yeah.
And then, like, there's clear power and intention and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or again?
Power is there.
Okay.
Same. Hit reset. 60 seconds lang din.
Okay. Good. Start anytime.
Bye.
Halfway mark. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Nice game.
Thank you.
If you mind getting in the light over here, guys, debrief.
Sure.
I feel like there's some similarities in what we're doing.
Yeah.
I think there's more little variations in what you're doing and the angles and stuff. For me, I feel like more like a sprinter. I feel like every time I see you just made a movement or you're about to make a movement, I'm like, oh, boom, go. And I just try to go for a shot.
Yeah.
I think the base body movement is similar, but I feel a lot of little layers on
I try to change the tempo in the second match.
Yeah.
Because Vincent reads tempo really good in
Yeah.
the first match.
Yeah.
He knows the opening.
Yeah.
That's why I went Decampo.
Yeah.
To break the rhythm.
No, it's like nice to see. I mean, it's clearly, for me, I see radically different structures and stuff. And I have to play with that. One of the things, do you mind joining them over there, Ipe? And I'll bring it, and I'll just be like the voice. But, so he just came from Mongolia, right?
Yeah,
and there's like this living culture where everyone wrestles all the time. And it's like, and like I'm joking about it, but it's just like it's part of how I came up in FMA. I don't like how close it is, but it's just like for me that's a function of I don't spar enough, you know, and it's like that's missing. I mean, I don't know anything you'd say about like. It's just interesting for me, like. That's what I want for the Philippines. Actually, is what I want to say, is like the way he went to Mongolia and he's like this experience of like they've been doing this practice of wrestling and you feel it goes back centuries. And it's like, hey, a lot of FMA, we know it's like, that shit might be 150 years old, 100 years.
Yeah.
But we got a warrior spirit that's pretty old and stuff. And it's like, that's something we can tap into. Mm-hmm. And I don't even think I'd even put this video out because I don't want this. I don't know how. The conversation ain't ready for public. Yeah. But, man, we need to spar more.
Yeah. I sense a similar thing just based on what you guys are saying. with Kun Tao in Taiwan, because up until maybe my generation or the one before it, Kun Tao in Taiwan was being used. And Kun Tao obviously historically had a good reputation throughout Southeast Asia, you know, but all it takes is 1 or 2 generations to not really be using it, even if they train the methodology. If they're not really using it, you're like a half second late on doing something, or you're only 90% committed when you should be 100% committed. And these are things that you learn through different levels of sparring. Maybe it's more playful, maybe it's hard sparring, maybe it's more technical, but different kinds of sparring. And I think it's not that sports are necessary, but sports give you a really good way a really good goal to do those sparrings to prepare for, right? And I think that's one of the things I noticed in Taiwanese Kun Tao. They don't really have a sport. We used to have a dueling format. It's called Lei Tai. You get on this platform and you fight it out, and whoever wins kicks the other guy out of town, right? That used to be the Hokkien way or most Chinese way of dueling, but then we don't do it anymore. And that could be a sport, but it's not really done like that. I think.
Well, I just want to throw this out there. You were talking about earlier is like how like there's so many different flavors of wrestling in Mongolia, and it's like I think that's something that's missing in the Philippines. Is like, yeah, there is hardcore training for the people who do the sport thing and push it there, and they get really good at the different flavors of sport. But that's only 2 flavors. The rest of us aren't pushing it in the other flavors of sparring. And I say I don't spar enough, and like a lot of people think I spar more than most people, and maybe I do, but it's still like sayang.
I think part of this is also cultural. Like I think not just cultural, like masculinity, machismo, all that. Like a lot of times or not losing face. Once you're grown up to a certain age, you stop wanting to lose to people. But,
The Ipis are your friends.
The martial arts, the martial arts, you can't get good at without getting beat.
Yeah.
You can't get good without getting beat, learning and overcoming that challenge, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's it's not just the case with the Philippines or Taiwan. It's actually worldwide. A lot of people don't want to lose, but it's not permanent losing if you improve.
Yeah.
So, I think whatever happened to the frequent, I don't know, how to say it, public, like people who are not obsessed with this thing, say our niece or this, but being able to casually do it, I think that maybe that needs to be brought into the culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when you have just a huge amount of people doing it, everyone's surrounded by it. It's very different.
Yeah.
That's why Mongolia consistently produces great wrestlers. That's why Thailand consistently produces great Nak Muay and kickboxers, because they just have a living, breathing culture. It's not specialists. It's not hobbyists. It's just people.
It's like the national consciousness is focused on.
Yeah. And a great Mongolian wrestler in the summertime, he might have a track record of winning 20 Nadams competitions and losing 40.
Ooh.
Because with that many people who are at a high level, there's no way you can just have, an entire like multi-year win streak. Someone is studying you. Someone's going to catch you.
Yeah.
And you'll figure that out and you improve further. I think that's one thing we need to, in all traditional martial arts, need to build is that almost constant technical arms race.
And I think that arms race isn't happening in FMA.
Because of the practitioners now are not that often to spar, maybe.
Yeah.
And I believe that the old art is now toned down because they make it as a sport. Because they think that it must be a sport.
But we gotta have ways of playing, testing, and failing, so that there can be that arms race.
Yeah.
You know, some of our elders and mentors is like I try to be nice and friendly and stuff and get people to spar, but it's like you also need to have like sparring where it's like, no, I want to destroy that person.
Yes.
No, you know, and ideally destroy them in the game, lang,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But it's like that's needed. There needs to be that arms race to keep the technique high.
True, true.
Yeah.
Is the night happening?
What?
July
Yeah.
9th.
Oh, actually, you know what? I got a contact from Rodolfo, and he's saying that Richard has wants us to have it at Rizal Sports Stadium. So in the home of the national team. So I'm like, okay, but it's gonna be like closed door
Yeah, yeah.
to get through the gates. But it's like all that people are like, okay, we're gonna have it in a closed door location. If you want to do it, let me know. And I got to find out whether or not I can actually announce that it's gonna be with the national team or not. But it might need to be like secret.
Are you still around? by then?
Yeah, he's gonna be there.
I'm
great.
flying out that night.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'll do that shower and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know.